Good morning. There's the music. I'm so sorry. I'm a little bit late because we have lots of stuff that we're getting ready for you. I had sort of a different thing planned for you. We were going to talk a lot about the ICE raids that were going on, and that is important. We're going to discuss that as they start to happen. So far, it has not started to happen. We discussed it a lot yesterday. It was our breaking news. So welcome to our Hot Topics. We have a lot of hot topics to talk to you about, everything from January 6th to what's happened with Meghan and Harry and the media, how they have actually won against the media, who has been, in many ways, gaslighting people, if you want to say that, the same way, in a similar fashion, I should say, as Donald Trump and MAGA. And I'm going to explain. So good morning on this very cold day across most of our nation. It is in the teens here in New York, and it is almost just as cold. It was colder. It was in the single digits last night. And very similarly, in my hometown of Louisiana, especially in Baton Rouge, where my family is, it's as cold as it is in New York. It's crazy. Also, what's happening with this administration, I would say, is cold-blooded. So good morning, my friends. Welcome to the Elimination. Tell me where you are streaming from, where you are tuning in or watching, clicking on our content. Good morning to Maddie Gray and others all across the country. Tell me how cold it is where you are, what is the temperature, and what is your temperature? I'm taking a temperature of the audience, okay? Donald Trump likes to bend reality and facts into his own thing. Remember alternative facts? We're going to get to all of that. But I want you to go with me here, because what they're trying to do and what they have been doing for a while, and quite frankly, have been quite successful at, is making you doubt that what you see with your own eyes and that what you're hearing with your own ears is not happening or did not happen. And they're very successful at it, shaping reality. I'm going to start. I like to start with facts, okay? And if you guys have some other facts or some other ideas about what I'm saying, tell us about it. This is your show as well. Be interactive, and I'll discuss. Put it in the chat. First of all, January 6th did not happen. It wasn't what you think it is. It was a walk in the park. It didn't happen. Here's the evidence.
The day of love.
Hey, brother, we're boots on the ground here. We're moving on to Capitol now.
Multiple capital entries. Multiple capital entries.
That was a day of love.
Hey, brother! Still taking metal, sharpened objects, missiles.
That was a day of love. That was a day of love.
America or Trump?
A day of love. January 6th did not happen. It did not happen. Thanks to our friends over at the Lincoln Project for that video. Also, they are making you question this. What you saw at the inauguration, did it happen? Did it not? Did that happen? They're saying it's not what you think it is. Now, what do you think? That it was, it was an unfortunate gesture. And even the Jewish organization, the ADL, is asking for grace. Did it happen or did it not? They're also saying that Donald Trump never made this phone call to try to influence or overturn a free and fair election. Never happened.
So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state, and flipping the state is a great testament to our country, because there's just it's a testament that they can admit to a mistake, or whatever you want to call it, if it was a mistake. I don't know.
If we could just go over some of the numbers, I think it's pretty clear that we won. We won very substantially, Georgia. We have at least anywhere from 250 to 300,000 ballots were dropped mysteriously into the rolls. Much of that had to do with Fulton County, which hasn't been checked. We think that if you check the signatures, a real check of the signatures going back in Fulton County, you'll find at least a couple of 100,000 of forged signatures. The bottom line is when you add it all up, and then you start adding, 300,000 fake ballots, then the other thing they said is in Fulton County and other areas, and this may or may not be true, this just came up this morning, that they are burning their ballots, that they are shredding ballots and removing equipment.
That never happened. He never made that phone call. 60 plus courts in the land, including the Supreme Court, they never said that there was no evidence. That never happened. Never happened. You didn't hear that. You didn't see it. Didn't happen. They're saying it didn't happen. Donald Trump never made that phone call. They're also saying that this picture that shows a difference between the 2016 inauguration or 2017 inauguration of Donald Trump compared to the 2000 inauguration of Barack Obama, that never happened. That Sean Spicer coming out. Now I want you to look at these pictures. Before I play Sean Spicer, the left is Barack Obama. The right is Donald Trump. Your eyes are deceiving you because the photograph on the right actually has more people in it than the photograph on the left. I mean, don't you see that? Don't you see that the photograph on the right has more people? Donald Trump has more people at his inauguration than Barack Obama? I mean, I certainly see it, don't you? Because Sean Spicer told me so on the first day of his presidency back in 2009.
This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period, both in person and around the globe. Even the New York Times printed a photograph showing that a misrepresentation of the crowd in the original tweet in their paper, which showed the full extent of the support, depth, and crowd and intensity that existed. These attempts to lessen the enthusiasm of the inauguration are shameful and wrong.
See, that never happened. Sean Spicer was right. That never happened. The crowd size. There's a new story coming out now about the nominee for Secretary of Defense, who is also saying there's a new story about new allegations against Pete Hegseth, who has been nominated by Donald Trump to be his Secretary of Defense and is getting the full support of the MAGA senators and congresspeople, politicians in Washington. They're saying that all of these allegations from the women, from the coworkers, from regarding the veterans group that he once led, never happened. Even Pete Hegseth is saying this did not happen.
You needed to be carried out of the event for being intoxicated.
Senator, anonymous smears.
Just true or false? Very simple. Summer of 2014 in Cleveland, drunk in public with the CVA team.
Anonymous smears.
I'm just asking for true or false questions, true or false answers. An event in North Carolina, drunk in front of 3 young female staff members after you had instituted a no alcohol policy and then reversed it. True or false?
Anonymous smears.
December of 2014 at the CVA Christmas party at the Grand Hyatt at Washington, D.C., you were noticeably intoxicated and had to be carried up to your room. Is that true or false?
Anonymous smears.
Another time, a CVA staffer stated that you passed out in the back of a party bus. Is that true or false?
Anonymous smears.
Anonymous smear. It's all anonymous smears. Even the police report that was taken in one hotel room that he admits to an affair or that something went down in the hotel room with a woman, but he is saying it was consensual, but still that never happened. Don't you guys know that never happened? These were smears. It never happened. And you know why it never happened? I think that back in 2016, 2017, I think Kellyanne Conway, who was the White House, or at least was an advisor to Donald Trump back then, was his campaign manager and then advisor. I think she explained is that the facts aren't necessarily facts. You're not necessarily seeing and hearing what you think.
Not excuse, and you did not answer the question.
I did answer your question.
No, you did not. You did not answer the question of why the president asked the White House press secretary to come out in front of the podium for the first time and utter a falsehood. Why did he do that? It undermines the credibility of the entire White House press office on day one.
Don't be so overly dramatic about it, Chuck. You're saying it's a falsehood, and they're giving Sean Spicer, our press secretary, gave alternative facts to that. But the point remains.
Wait a minute. Alternative facts? Alternative facts. 4 of the 5 facts he uttered. The one thing he got right was Zeke Miller. 4 of the 5 facts he uttered were just not true. Look, alternative facts are not facts.
By the way, you won't see an interview like that. Not this time around. You will not see an aggressive interview or pushback or press like that. If you guys can, I'm not sure if you, producers, I'm going to send it to you. This is from Oliver Darcy, who is a media writer. I'll send it to you. I'll tell you why you won't see an aggressive interview like that coming from traditional media. Not going to happen. So what is going on here? Because you are not, she is telling you what you're saying is not what you're saying. These are, it's the alternative facts. These are the talking points that Republicans are trying to shove down your throat. MAGA, Trump, and Republicans. It's hard really to now differentiate between MAGA and Republicans. I try to do it, but it's really tough. MAGA has taken over the Republican Party. This is the gaslighting that they're going to engage in, not only this week, for the next 4 years, and that's why you need this community for us to be able to discuss these things without just sort of glossing over it as if it is normal. Having conversations, insulting your intelligence as if this is something normal, that it should be discussed as if it is normal, as if there's some equivalence to what's happening from fair, good-minded people who push back against this nonsense. I don't think gaslighting is a strong enough word. They are going to tell you not to believe your own lying eyes and your own lying ears, but only to believe what Trump says. The only truth is Trump's truth, especially as it relates to what is happening with January 6th and the inauguration. Now, I'm going to set this up because I want to show some of what I think it's fascinating with the folks who have been pardoned and the sentences have been commuted, the commutations from January 6th. These folks are now speaking. And I want you to know, they're saying that you didn't see what you thought you saw. They're saying that you didn't see what you thought you saw. So the first person I want you to hear, you guys all remember the guy in the horns, okay? Sit back because we're going to take a while, and I want you to sit back take your shoes off. As they say, it's the Beverly Hillbillies. Y'all come back now, you hear? I want you to stay. Take your shoes off. Even if you're in your office, if you're in your car, I would say don't take them off if you're driving. If you're a red light, you can take them off. Make sure you throw them away from the brake and the accelerator. Take your shoes off. And just sit back and take a gander of this, because I want you guys to take this in and tell me if this is not, it seems like, to me, you tell me if you think it's cult-like, because if they have just realized, hey, if we say this, then folks will start to believe or not believe what they saw with their own eyes and they heard with their own ears, even though these folks pleaded guilty and they said in court that they were co-opted by Donald Trump, and that somehow offered them some defense from either being prosecuted at all or for facing harsh prosecution or sentences. First off, the guy with the horns and the fur, the insurrection shaman, or QAnon shaman, as he was known in the beginning, I think it's Chansley or Jacob Chansley or something. That's his name. Here he is. Listen, it's long. I want you to watch
that
it.
I broke, I entered the building illegally. If you mean like stopping people from stealing, volunteering to help the police, saying a prayer inside the Senate, singing my shamanic song inside the Senate, stopping people from breaking in once outside the building, and literally like facing an angry mob all by myself, telling everybody they're not going to break in. That also happened that day. It really all depends on what you mean by by your question.
Well, how you remember it?
Well, I remember it being a lot different than the mockingbirds in the media have spun it, that's for sure. The chaos and the violence that took place outside the building that day was largely provoked, as far as I remember, by tear gas, concussion grenades, and rubber bullets being shot into a peaceful crowd. It was after all that all hell broke loose.
Pause. Okay. just rubber bullets being shot into a peaceful crowd. Look at your screen. Does that look peaceful to you? Again, what you're not seeing and you're not hearing, what you're actually seeing or hearing. This never happened. Listen to how these folks have twisted the facts and the truth. Now, remember, there are interviews with Jacob Chansley saying that he was co-opted by Donald Trump. And I think that he had some remorse, if I recall. Don't quote me on that, but if memory serves me right, I think he had some remorse. And now he's gone back to this. And then as we're talking about this, producers, give me the tweet that he tweeted yesterday. I just want you to see this. But this is, you're not seeing, this is a peaceful crowd. Okay? And rubber bullets were shot. So it's not the rioters or the January 6th insurrectionists' fault. It is the fault of the Capitol Police. Remember I interviewed that man on the Capitol steps back during the election? And he said that these folks should have never been prosecuted and that it wasn't an insurrection because they ushered them in. They were ushering them. He said they welcomed them in. That's what he said. They welcomed them into the Capitol. Now, the last time I got a welcome, I mean, nobody was trying to push me or shove me out of whenever I was going into a business or someone's home. And when they gave me a welcome, they didn't welcome me by shooting me with rubber bullets. So maybe they're trying to change also the definition of what welcome is. Now, again, sit back. I want you to listen and understand me that this is, again, not normal. And they are gaslighting you, not a strong enough word. If you guys don't know another word. And they are effing with your mind about what is actual reality. Keep going.
So that usually gets forgotten. And I I think that the whole thing has just been mischaracterized in so many ways, that myself included. I mean, people think I'm an insurrectionist or a Republican. I'm a libertarian. You know, there's so much distortion because of the media. You know, one of the things I like to say is you don't realize how distorted the media lens actually is until you see your own reflection in it.
Well, now is your chance to be absolutely clear about this. Are you saying you did not go into that building to try to stop the certification of the accurate 2020 US presidential election result?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I did not go into the building for that reason. And the fact that you still think that I did just shows how distorted the media lens actually is.
On that point,
because that's
Jake,
never my
Jake,
intention. That's never been my intention.
I'm just literally looking at what you pleaded guilty to. That's what I'm going from. You pleaded guilty to unlawfully obstructing.
Pause. Okay, so then why did you go in there? If you didn't go in it to try to stop an election that you thought was stolen, why on earth, why were you even at the Capitol? If Donald Trump had not lied to you, would you even be there? Someone was asked that, and I'll play that for you in a little bit. But why did you even go to the Capitol? Why were you in there if it wasn't to stop a free and fair election? Because there's no need to be there. He was in the Senate chamber. Thank you, Aaliyah Hunter. So now it's going to go into a personal attack. I'm sure mocking. Oh my God! What? I know. I haven't seen all of this, but here it is. Keep going.
An official proceeding, i.e.,
and
the
didn't
certification
the Supreme
of that.
Court say that? But didn't the Supreme Court just say that that is not a practical application of the law whatsoever, and that the government was bending the law to gain convictions out of people?
No.
Give us your reaction to being pardoned for that day by President Trump.
It feels just like it should.
Go on.
Well, I think that pretty much says it all.
Describe your emotions when you heard.
I think I got the news from my lawyer when I was at the gym, and I walked outside and I screamed freedom at the top of my lungs and then gave a good Native American war cry.
And did you expect him to follow through on what he has promised on a number of occasions through the campaign trail?
I expect Donald Trump to be a man of his word like he has been for decades. And that is a track record that we don't have with pretty much any politician in D.C. for the most part. Very few have that kind of a record of saying the same things and doing the same things, which are pro-American, for over 30 years.
You wrote on X after you'd heard the news, "Thank you, President Trump. I'm going to buy some mother effing guns." Because presumably now your record has been wiped clean, you are allowed to buy guns again. Is that what you're going to do? Have you gone out and bought them already?
Oh, yeah. Well, I want you to think about something. The mockingbirds in the media and the government demonized me. They made me social pariah. They attached things like QAnon, conspiracy theorist, white supremacist, insurrectionist, racist, homophobe, terrorist. They attached all those labels to my image. And then they imprisoned me for 27 months, 10 and a half in solitary confinement. And then they released me to the public as social pariah without the ability to own a firearm. So I can never really actually bring in a gun to a gunfight. I always have to bring a knife to a gunfight.
Pause. Now, do you guys see what's going on here? And now look, for someone who is, I've had, my share of therapy in my life. And I know, some psychologists. I am not one. All of a sudden, Jacob Chansley is a victim. He is a victim. It's not that, Jacob Chansley went into the Capitol, did something wrong. I'm sorry. I have, paid, I believe, restitution. I should be welcomed back into polite society because I'm sorry for what I've done. But now he is a victim. It never happened. It was his right somehow to be in the Capitol. I'm sure you're going to say the Capitol's the people's house. We own it. There's some. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's all of a sudden a victim. Now, if there's a therapist out there, a psychologist, psychiatrist, someone who knows, please let me know how Jacob Chansley became a victim, even now that he has been pardoned, still a victim. Keep going.
And you do realize how wrong that is, right?
Jake, you pleaded guilty.
I pleaded guilty. So is this how we do things in England? I say, yes, you can't see, the forest for the trees, my dear.
Now he's mocking the interview.
Why did you plead guilty then?
Have you ever been in solitary confinement before?
Tell me why you pled guilty.
I'm asking you the question, dear. Have you ever been in solitary confinement? The answer is no. Have you ever had the media and the government simultaneously mischaracterizing your involvement in some sort of a politicized travesty that is being used to actually circumvent the law and certify an election that in every way, shape, and form has all the hallmarks of a regime change and corruption?
Pause.
I mean,
Pause. Okay, Andy, please back that up, because he's saying, again, he's admitting, I don't know if he said this originally in the court, I think they all said, okay, it was not stolen, just so they could have lighter sentences. But what he is saying, again, is that you didn't happen, this did not happen, and they are still saying the election was stolen. Donald Trump and the MAGA folks have held on to a lie for 4 years, and that's why I said yesterday, Democrats can't even hold on to the truth for once. And look where we are. So he is saying, in one breath, that he should not be prosecuted for it, and that he's innocent, and that it never happened. And then in the other breath, he's saying that he did not go in there because he believed the election was stolen. And now he is saying he believed the election was stolen. Now he's saying it was stolen, and that's why we went. But he just said a couple minutes ago, sounds to me like he said it wasn't. Okay, here it is.
Actually circumvent the law and certify an election that in every way, shape, and form has all the hallmarks of a regime change and corruption. I mean, you've never been in my shoes. You don't want to be in my shoes. You're too afraid to be in my shoes. That's why you're behind the camera that you're behind, and I'm behind the one that I'm behind.
And that's why I'm asking you to give me an insight into why you pleaded guilty.
I just gave it to you. But like I said, you can't see the forest for the trees, my dear.
Explain it to me. Go on.
No. I am in no way, shape, or form obligated to explain anything to you, especially now.
Because he can't.
What do you mean, especially now? Because you're a free man and you've been part. Well, you were released a little while ago.
Not just that. I've been vindicated more than once, dear. And the BBC has its reputation in the gutter. You guys covered up Jimmy Savile for years. You covered up the rape gangs for years. You guys got the Dorian Gray image right in front of you. You got your own painting right in front of you. I mean, it's no offense. It's what you guys deserve as an institution. I don't know if you're one of the people that covered this stuff up, but I mean, you guys, you all know what you did over the last several decades. You know who you've been protecting.
Here are the
I've spent
conspiracy
years
theories.
covering abuse of young women and young men as it happens. But anyway, not long after you...
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. Did you cover the rape gangs, or did you help cover that up? Did you cover Jimmy Savile while he was doing all that stuff to those children with special needs?
Jake,
or did you cover the fact that Prince Andrew went to Epstein Island?
Not long after you were jailed, you said you regretted what you did, that you were wrong for entering the Capitol building. And then when you got out of jail, it sounded like you weren't remorseful or regretful anymore. Where do you stand now?
Holding on to regret or hatred or anger or depression is bad spiritual hygiene. I regret nothing. You understand?
I regret nothing.
Would you do the same again?
Because I'm a better man because of what I went through. Do you regret things that are hard that you go through but make you a better human being? No, because they made you a better human being. And in all honesty, if you think of my lack of presence there on January 6th, then what you'll find is that January 6th narrative no longer has an Achilles heel. So I was the Achilles heel of the January 6th narrative because the media made me one, because they lied. They lied en masse to billions of people, and then it came back to bite them in the ass.
What did they lie about, and how has it come back to bite them in the ass?
Lord, if you can't read the writing on the wall, dear, there's nothing I can do to help you.
Jake, I'm asking you.
Oh, and I'm telling you. You dig what I'm saying? You can't figure this out on your own. There's nothing I can do to help you, dear.
Donald Trump.
Because I can't. There's nothing I'll be able to say to you. Do you understand? Like you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink. You can lead a person to knowledge, but you can't make him think. I'm leading you to the knowledge, but I mean, it's up to you to think about it.
Donald Trump called you, all those who were convicted after January the 6th, called you unbelievable patriots. I wonder if you also support the pardoning of those who were convicted alongside you, but who attacked police officers, for example.
Well, if they served their time, if they were in prison at the time, then, they did their time. They did their sentence. I leave it to the president's discretion.
Yeah.
In all honesty,
okay.
He's the one that had...
Enough. I leave it to the president's discretion. The president is judge nor jury. The president is the president. He is not the attorney general nor special prosecutor, none of those things. But he does have the pardon power. I leave it up to that is a non-answer answer. I leave it up to the president. So what did you think? How did all of a sudden he has become a victim? Jacob Chansley has become a victim, and he's not the only one. Now, we don't know specifically what people were charged with and what they were actually doing, but the folks who are now saying that they were pushed in they got caught up in the crowd and they were pushed in. This is a couple from Virginia who was pardoned. Let's hear their story. I haven't heard their story. Let's listen together, shall we?
Take me back. You can go ahead. Let me put this out of the way. Okay. Take me back to January 6th and describe what you saw and what you did, you and your wife.
Excellent question. What we saw was the most amazing gathering of people ever. And we even climbed a tree and we could not see the end of the crowd. And the people were having fun. It was a serious event, and we all knew it. And the people that converged on that place knew the reason that they were there was because they felt that the government was doing something that was against the Constitution and against our right to vote.
Pause.
So, but the people...
They felt that they were doing something against the Constitution, against their right to vote. They had the right to vote. They voted. The Constitution says there should be what? A peaceful transition of power after a free and fair election. And that's what happened. They still believe they are victims. Keep going.
That was against the Constitution and against our right to vote. So, but the people were friendly, joy-filled. Yeah, there's a few knuckleheads here and there, like you'll get in any crowd, but I'm going to guess it's a million
Okay,
people.
pause.
And
the people were peaceful, and there were a few knuckleheads. Did you guys see the video? This is not disturbing to you? Look, I'm not saying you should let me get all ginned up about it, but this isn't disturbing to you. This is not like you come into the kitchen late at night and you're like, who is that rustling in the kitchen? And little, 5-6-year-old Jimmy has orange Cheeto dust all over his face. And you say, Jimmy, have you been eating the Cheetos? No. I haven't. But Jimmy, the evidence, I have not been eating it. I have to go. I can't take the stress of these idiots. Come on, Angie, me, stay with us for a second. You need to see this for the moment. Let's keep going.
We saw Trump speak. We were within eyeshot of Trump. It was a fabulous speech. He did say to march peacefully down there. And, you know, we went there specifically to have our voice heard and to see who our compatriots are in this country. And it was a phenomenal group of people.
And tell me, you got down there and then what happened? What did you see?
Well, first of all the roads were blocked. And we stood in line for 2 hours in the cold for a subway, for a metro train, and found out it was closed after standing in line for 2 hours. So we walked all the way from Pentagon City, all the way to where the speech was near the ellipse. So my wife and I walked the whole way. So what we saw was it was inexplicably shut down. Dump trucks on entrance and exit ramps. It was kind of eerie in a sense. But as we walked all the way there, and the rally was amazing. And then we went to the Capitol, and then we walked all the way back to Pentagon City. That's what we had to do.
And then we went to the Capitol.
And what happened at the Capitol, and why were you charged?
And then we walked back.
What happened at the Capitol?
So what happened at the Capitol, from what I personally saw, I can tell you what I think about what happened, what I saw, what else I saw. But what I saw was we were standing in the crowd on the mall side of the Capitol when a gunshot went off and a guy got hit in the face about 50 feet from us, and we so close that our eyes were watering, and we smelled the pepper gas, and the wind was blowing right in our direction. When that happened, I'm like, wait a minute, what's happening? Then all of a sudden, a bunch of flashbangs went off. So people were getting shot, hit with munitions from the police, but there was nobody confronting them. And what I saw was something that was illegal. We were there to exercise our free speech, and we have the right to voice our concern over especially something as egregious as what we believe was happening in the elections. So what I saw, there was an inflection point.
Okay.
Also going through the crowd.
He was there on false pretenses. They thought something was egregious. Folks were trying to enter the Capitol, but police are supposed to stand back and stand by and allow them to come in to deface the Capitol or riot in the Capitol. When others are saying they welcomed them in. Now, did they welcome them in, or were they trying to keep them out? Because this contradicts the welcoming them in narrative. Okay, that's one. Andy, is his wife there? Do we have someone else in this video?
Let me see.
He's the only one.
Yeah, he's the only one.
Okay, let's move on. Here's another January 6th rioter who has been released and is now pardoned and speaking to the press.
Which one do you want to see?
Just play It Does Not Matter.
Well, President Trump's first full day in office brought the release of hundreds of people charged in the riots at the U.S. Capitol on July 6, 2021, including Mercer County mom Rachel Powell. She became known as the Pink Hat Lady 4 years ago when she was seen using a makeshift battering ram to bust open a window at the Capitol. Tonight, though, she's out of federal prison, awaiting her return to Western Pennsylvania and reflecting on how she got here.
I feel like a fool because I just walked into something unexpected, and it doesn't excuse my behavior that day. I can't go back. I guess I can only go forward. So let's just go forward in our country and heal.
Only on KDK tonight, we're hearing from Powell's daughter and from Powell herself about the pardon and what comes next for them. Jennifer Barrasso joins us live. Jen.
Ken, Rachel Powell is spending the night in Washington, D.C.
Just cue it up, Andy, to the interview. Great, let's see.
Whole inauguration from beginning to end. We never had any doubts. It was just, when is it going to happen? How is it going to come about?
Rachel Powell, who has been in prison for more than a year for her role in the deadly January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, is now free after President Trump pardoned her. and more than 1,500 others. I talked with a 44-year-old mother of 8 and grandmother of 7 on FaceTime, who's staying at an Airbnb in Washington, D.C.
At first it was just tears, I don't know if it was sorrow or what it was, but so emotional coming out of that jail. It's been a four years of hell for my family, and it was finally over.
After her release Tuesday afternoon, Powell was met by January 6th activists outside the D.C. jail.
They gave me a hat, they put a sweatshirt on me, shoes, scarves, gloves, hand warmers.
We were there when Rachel talked to her 21-year-old daughter, Ada. The plan is to reunite tomorrow.
I love you, Ada.
I love you too, Mom. I'm so excited to see you. I love you. I miss you. I can't wait to see you in person. I'm going to give you the biggest hug in the world. I'm so excited to see you.
Powell, infamously known as the Pink Hat Lady, was captured on video with an ice axe in her
There she
hand,
is. There she
breaking
is.
a window to get into the Capitol.
There she is.
Video also showed her using a battering ram and a bullhorn to direct people inside the building. Powell was convicted on 9 federal charges. She was sentenced to 4 years in prison. Now she is trying to figure out what the future will look like.
It's definitely been a little rough, without the mom. The mom's like the glue. So without her here, it's been rough. Hasn't been great, but we've made do.
Where are we gonna live? How am I gonna make money? What trauma is there to my family, and how do we heal that? And it's a lot. It's a lot to rebuild, and so I don't have all the answers.
Okay, thank you.
Since
All right, you saw a battering ram and an ice pick. Now, can you imagine that sort of how the MAGA folks would feel about the protests from 2020, the summer of protests? So that's fine. But then the folks who took advantage of those protests, the rioters from the George Floyd protest, now imagine them pardoning those people and then putting them on television to have some empathy or sympathy for breaking into a Louis Vuitton store or a department store or a drugstore or whatever it is with a battering ram and an ice pick. You picking up what I'm putting down? These are heroes. Release J6 detainees speak to the press. Let's watch.
Sorry, I'm looking for the one you're talking about.
Yep. They are heroes. They are heroes.
Here we go.
Out here in a pair of jail slippers.
And Philadelphia's.
Yeah. He's standing here in jail slippers in Philadelphia's finest, and yet we have people still locked in there. Somebody get this right.
William Sarsfield III from Texas as well. If it wasn't for the strength of this man here and everybody else that had prayers for us all the way, we wouldn't be here. But the good Lord's got our back, and fine American people's got theirs.
Back up again, please. Let's hear him with his Biden sucks. What did he say? What kind of American people? A lot? What did he say?
From Texas as well. If it wasn't for the strength of this man here and everybody else that had prayers for us all the way, we wouldn't be here. But the good Lord's got our back, and fine American people's got theirs.
Did he say white American? What did you producers? Did you guys? What did he say? Quite
fine American people's got, and fine American people.
Fine?
Fine.
Can you tell it's fine?
And Fine American People's got theirs.
Fine, I can't tell what he's saying.
I'm hearing fine American people.
Fine American people. Okay, so fine American people. So these people are heroes. That's what they're saying. There's one more, I believe, Andy, that I want to play. I think it's a rioter says that it's going to take him years to recover from post-pardon depression, I think.
Okay, I got it.
Littleton resident was among those receiving a pardon from President Trump.
Just go to the interview, please.
I was led by God to go there.
51-year-old Patrick Montgomery says a split decision to stand with other protesters, posting his involvement on social media, cost him dearly.
I was arrested by the FBI, at my house on January, I think it was the 17th of 2021. I spent 2 days in jail before I was released on my own surety bond. I went under, home incarceration on my ankle bracelet.
He says it'll take years to recover from the effect on his family and his career as a hunting guide and consultant.
My company's been ruined. My reputation, I had a good standing within my outdoor community. I was one of the most respected, hunting guides and consultants in the country. That's all gone.
Still, Montgomery says he knows others have lost much more and doesn't condone the violent and deadly actions of other protesters.
What happened that day was awful, and what those officers that had to go through was awful. But it was also awful for the American citizens. And, my deepest condolences, to the officers' families, my deepest condolences to even Officer Hodges. And I apologized to him.
Montgomery says he acted in self-defense when he ended up in an altercation with that officer.
When he turned and raised his baton, towards me, I didn't have time to make a choice. I didn't go after him. I had no intention of trying to hurt Mr. Hodges. But yeah, I instinctually grabbed onto the baton and as my right. I'm allowed to defend myself. Those are the simple laws of nature.
Okay. Pause.
And especially when...
Self-defense. By the way, the other guys, fine American people. I couldn't hear it here. Just want to be fair. Okay, self-defense. Think about the people when they are stopped, when you hear folks are stopped by police officers and they may be of a different hue and they say, why didn't he just comply? George Floyd should have complied. Others should have complied or they would be alive. Now, I'm not arguing on the complying part, but why are the rules different for some people? Why are the rules different for the January 6th insurrectionists, terrorists? Why is it different for them that he has the right to defend himself against the police officers and others do not have that right? Now, you can tell me if you think I'm wrong. His reputation is ruined. He showed up to the Capitol. He went in or tried to get into the Capitol. But now his reputation is ruined. He is a victim and he has somehow some post-pardon depression. Let's keep listening.
Police officers are acting outside the legal performance of their duties.
Many fear pardoning Montgomery and others involved in the events of January 6th.
Police are acting outside of their legal performance of duties. Isn't that the whole fight against excessive force and police violence? Isn't that what the folks who are out there, isn't that what the Black Lives Matter thing was about? Isn't that what Colin Kaepernick was fighting for? I mean, come on, where's the lie? Tell me, I want to know, do you think I'm lying? Am I crazy? Am I out of it when it comes to this? They're saying the same thing, and it's okay for them to fight against it, but it's not okay for other people to fight against it. It's okay for them to riot because of that, even in response to police officers trying to control the situation at the Capitol. It's okay for them to riot over that and to be able to fight police officers or beat them up because they say it is self-defense. But it is not okay for quite honestly, the black men who feel that they are being targeted by police officers to do the same. It's not okay for anyone outside of this MAGA group. Let's be honest. Again, I'm not arguing should they comply. I always say, try to stay alive. If you have to comply, stay alive and then fight it in the courtroom afterwards. So that's not part of my argument, but why are the rules different for you? Let's keep going.
Will set a dangerous precedent in America, moving forward, opening the door for more violence.
Not any more than, the precedent of pardoning, your son that, is also, guilty of crimes.
Montgomery refers to former President Joe Biden's pardon of his son Hunter. When asked how he would react if a group stormed the Capitol today in protest of President Trump's election, he offered this response.
I still to this day don't condone that behavior. To be honest with you, I felt that the people that were actually breaking windows, trying to get into the Capitol building, that those police officers, they would have been within their rights, had they shot some of those protesters.
Is there anything you would have done differently if you had a second chance today?
I would not have believed, and I may be naive, but I would have not have gone into the building, and if it wasn't for this pardon, I would also 4 years on home incarceration, 3 years inside a prison, and followed by 3 more years of supervised, probation. That's 10 years of my life for grabbing onto a baton.
Now he understands. Thank you. Now he understands those who are caught up in the justice system. Now, I will have to say, at least he's saying, I would not have gone in. He doesn't explain it. I would not have believed, I would not have gone into the Capitol. He's admitting that he did go into the Capitol. He's a grown man. Now he understands the people who get caught up in the justice system. But the rules are different. He would not have grabbed onto a baton. That's what he says. Does he have empathy for others? Are the rules different for the January 6 people? Are the rules different? I need to play this before we move on, okay? Don, the police are supposed to attack anyone non-white people. They are not supposed to attack white people. That is what these people believe. That's what Director for U2C. Thank you for your support of independent media. And thank you for your comment. I appreciate your comments. I want to know what you guys think. How is this different? How are they now victims? Have any of them admitted they were doing wrong and left MAGA? No. None that I know of, at least the ones that we showed, no. So Sarah Longwell, we have no vested connection or interest in the Bulwark. We just think they do great work, and we love the folks over there. Sarah Longwell, JVL, and Tim Miller did fantastic work, among others. Sort of explaining to you about what I said, that this did not happen. And even part of it is that they don't want it to happen because they want to be able to what? To pardon folks, to do whatever they want, to be able to blanketly do whatever they want. And part of it is, and I believe a bigger part is, as I always say, is to keep dividing people, to keep them fighting amongst each other so that they can do, under the cover of darkness or in your face, whatever they want to do. They would rather keep you arguing or trying to figure out if a gesture is what you saw than to have you focusing on what's really important. I want you to sit back. Again, I'm so glad. Thank you I told you it was going to take a while. I wanted to go through it. I want you guys to hear this. Because this, from what I'm hearing, this may be one of the only, if not the only places that you're going to get information from, because you just don't want to be bombarded, gaslit by the media, etc. Listen to what Sarah Longwell is saying about the distraction and about the, sleight of hand that is going on here, as people are arguing about what a gesture is, but what is really important. what you saw, okay, I give you that. But there's also something else going on. Here's Sarah Longwell from the Bulwark.
Republicans would much rather say that Democrats are insane, accusing Elon of being a Nazi and throwing the Nazi salute. They want to have that fight. They want to get into that. Why? Because they feel like it's really easy to make Democrats look like they're the ones overreading things, overreacting to things. Whereas Republicans know that Donald Trump pardoning the January 6th committee, nobody wants to get asked about that on the right. Half of them, J.D. Vance said he wasn't going to do it. J.D. Vance said Trump isn't going to pardon people who violently assaulted cops. Well, he just did. So did a whole bunch of the anti-anti crowd, or even the pro-Trump crowd, or the Wall Street Journal editorial page. Okay, he just made J.D. Vance look like a fool for going on television and saying Trump's not going to, pardon these violent insurrectionists who went after cops. Okay, he's humiliating people. Focus on that. And I'm not saying that they're playing, 16-dimensional chess and that Elon did that thing so that we'd all talk about that instead of talking about what Trump's doing. But they do understand that there are fights they want to have and there are fights they don't want to have. And I'm just telling you that the did he or didn't he throw a Nazi salute fight is a fight that the right wants to have. And the Trump definitely pardoned the January 6th insurrectionists, as well as issued a ton. Look, it was all day, every day, all day. Republicans had been up in arms about Joe Biden pardoning his family, pardoning members of the January 6th committee. And now he pardons people who actually committed crimes. Look, I'm not a fan of what Joe Biden did with those pardons, not at all. That being said, he was pardoning people that Donald Trump was saying he was going to target, okay, who had, I think in most of the cases, although there is a, Hunter and his brother, that's a little iffier. But like Liz Cheney didn't commit any crimes. Adam Kinzinger didn't commit any crimes. The staff and the members of the January 6th committee, they didn't commit any crimes. So the preemptive pardons are because Trump said he's going to target people. I don't think that makes them okay. I do think it makes them morally different than Donald Trump issuing pardons for people who assaulted cops, broke into the Capitol, and tried to overturn an election. Because what Donald Trump is telling people, the pernicious, scary thing about Donald Trump pardoning these January 6th insurrectionists is he's saying, if you commit violence in my name, I will forgive you. Now, look, if Elon is a Nazi throwing Nazi salutes, he'll do it again. There'll be more information. But that is a distraction from what Donald Trump is doing. And I think that Democrats have got to figure out, or that's the pro-democracy coalition in general, as we figure out how to fight back against Trump 2.0, I think that there is a picking and choosing of battles. They intentionally try to exhaust you with outrages where they can make you look ridiculous. And I'm sorry that this is one of them. This is one where they want to have the Elon fight, don't want to have a conversation about what
Thank you, Sarah Longwell. Thank you very much. Okay, so there you go. And she is 100% right. Look, I've been saying all of this. I sent you guys, producers, a note. Let me know what you think. I've been saying this because, and you know that I'm being sarcastic when I say you didn't see it, didn't happen. You didn't see it, it didn't happen. That's what they're trying to. You guys know. I just want you to be clear that that's sarcasm. You saw with your own eyes what happened. You heard with your own ears what happened. You know what happened. You know what happened. For all of these things. Yet and still, it appears there are people, and you can tell me if you think this is cult-like behavior, who actually believe what happened, believe what Donald Trump says, went into the Capitol for it, rioted the Capitol, broke into it, got prosecuted. Some of them went to jail. Some of them home confinement, different levels of prosecution. And still believe that what they did was right and that they are victims. What does that sound like to you? What does that sound like to you? Now, look, I just want to say that there's the reporting that I mentioned my friend Oliver Darcy. And I'm not just pointing out one network here, okay? But Oliver Darcy writes in his column that he writes about the media and status. I don't know if we have it, if we can put it up. But he writes about how the networks now are toning down their aggressive coverage of Donald Trump, and how the leaders of those networks are telling them that you got to be fair. Don't focus on so much of the indecencies. Talk about the day of what's going on. There's one article in the New York Post, because the New York Post is a Murdoch-owned organization, as is Fox News. The New York Post putting up, what was it, the headline from the New York Post, talking about CNN's boss, Mark Thompson, told Jake Tapper, Anderson Cooper, 100 other journalists not to express outrage during the Trump inauguration. That's a report. And so they're referencing the report from Oliver Darcy. So they're pointing out CNN because obviously it is clickbait for them. It gets them clicks. More people will tune in, or click on that. And they don't want to hit Fox News because they are all Fox News is in Donald Trump's camp. But from the original article, and here it is, right? This is from Status. This is from Oliver Darcy, okay? But let's be clear, okay? Because Oliver Darcy is just using CNN as an example. And again, I'm not just picking on CNN here. This is reporting. I am reporting on the reports or the facts here. To be clear, Oliver says, Thompson is far from alone. Most major news outlets have recalibrated their coverage this time around, mostly as a result of pressure from their owners, whether corporate or the ultra-wealthy. There is a feeling amongst that class, likely fueled to a degree by bad faith activists on the right attempting to rewrite history. It did not happen. What you saw did not happen. What you experienced, what you're hearing, it did not happen. Are trying to rewrite history, that news organizations went overboard covering Trump's first term. Executives feel that journalists were too emotional and too outspoken, and frankly, maybe even too biased during those 4 years. They view the second administration as a chance at a reset. Sound familiar? Remember, psychiatrists or psychologists will tell you we have a tendency to romanticize the past, to forget how bad things are. That because it's happened, it becomes normal. This time around, they do not wish to be lumped in with the hashtag resistance. In fact, quite the opposite. Most wish to have positive relationship with the Trump administration in one way or another. Of course, not getting caught up in the mayhem is all easier said than done. After 4 relatively lackluster years under Joe Biden, it can be easy to forget the bedlam that defined the first Trump administration. As I just said, we tend to forget how bad things are or were. Trump is a thin-skinned agent of chaos and an attention addict who consumes an alarming volume of mis- and disinformation and apparently believes it. Those qualities led him to make astonishing and often repugnant decisions during the first term in office, and they will surely lead him to doing the same in the second. Already, Trump has pardoned January 6 convicts, including violent offenders, withdrawn the U.S. from the World Health Organization, launched an unprecedented attack on birthright citizenship, revoked security for John Bolton, and removed senior career officials from key positions at the Department of Justice, and he has only been in office since noon on Tuesday. That's why I said to you in the beginning of this, when I played the Kellyanne Conway interview, thank you, Andy, for that. When I played the Kellyanne Conway interview and the pushback that Chuck Todd gave, that you will not, probably more than likely, not see that sort of aggressive pushback of the Trump administration, of Trump lackeys, of Trump supporters, of MAGA Republican consultants, contributors, analysts. It's not going to happen. And for more reasons than for what Oliver writes about here. Look at the folks who are above the journalists in these organizations, above the news department. They don't want it. Look at the people who were sitting on that front row. They don't want it. But you have the opportunity to control all of this. You can decide who you watch, who you don't, who you click on, what you tune into, what social media platforms you're on, if you're on them at all. Is this not concerning to you? If you sit around all day and watch, or if you tune in and that you're informed without being inundated. Now, again, we're going to get to a point where we don't have to, we're not going to cover all the madness that happens because it's happening in such a barrage right now because all of these things are coming in. All of these things are coming in right now because they're making such jolting decisions and signing executive orders. But there was a win against the media, and this time that win is coming from overseas, where quite frankly, they are much more aggressive with their leadership than the media and the journalists here in the United States. Much more aggressive with that. Let me set this up for you because this just shows you about the media and how I believe the American media should be held accountable. It's tougher. The laws are different here. But Prince Harry and Meghan Markle settled a huge lawsuit against the UK newspaper group owned by the media mogul Rupert Murdoch. His news group newspapers. His lawyer told CBS News on Wednesday Harry and the former senior UK lawmaker sued News Group in 2019 over alleged unlawful activities carried out by both tabloid journalists and private investigators employed by its newspapers, The Sun and the no longer in circulation News of the World. It was one of a number of lawsuits Harry brought against newspapers in Britain. NGN offers a full and unequivocal apology to the Duke of Sussex for the serious intrusions by the Sun between 1996 and 2011 onto his private life, including incidents of unlawful activities carried out by private investigators working for the Sun. The media company said in a statement read out in court on Wednesday. The statement also included an apology for the activities of journalists and private investigators working for the News of the World. Prince Harry's lawyer addressed the press. I want you to pay close attention outside of the courthouse. Watch.
I've been asked to read out a statement on behalf of the Duke of Sussex and Lord Watson. In a monumental victory today, News UK have admitted that The Sun, the flagship title for Rupert Murdoch's UK media empire, has indeed engaged in illegal practices. This represents a vindication for the hundreds of other claimants who were strong-armed into settling without being able to get to the truth of what was done to them. After endless resistance, denials, and legal battles by News Group newspapers, including spending more than £1 billion in payouts and in legal costs, as well as paying off those in the know, in order to prevent the full picture from coming out, News UK is finally held to account for its illegal actions and its blatant disregard for the law.
Thank you. Okay.
It has also...
That's a lawyer someone won a case against the media. And there have been a number of cases against the media now. The media taking L's left and right now. You remember what happened with ABC News and George Stephanopoulos, right? Having to pay, I think it was $10 million. You know what happened with Fox News and Dominion, and now there's another lawsuit with Smartmatic that's still in process. CNN lost a lawsuit from a man who claimed defamation. I think it was $5 million or so. So that's where the media is. And look, again, these are the facts. These are the reports. Look at the inauguration ratings. Look at the inauguration ratings. Inauguration ratings way down. We have that way down. The lowest in any modern American president, the lowest in history. The television ratings for President Donald Trump's second inauguration are in, and they dropped 27% from Joe Biden's in 2021, and were nearly 20% lower than Trump's first swearing in 2017. Some of the cable news dropped by, it's crazy, 10 million for Joe Biden down to just almost in their prime time, just not even 2 million. From 10 million to 2 million. What do you guys think of that? I want to know. Are people are they sick of the media? Are they sick of Trump? Have they had enough? Are they exhausted? I understand one member said, I'm exhausted, Don, I'm tuning out. I get it. Don't think I'm going to bombard you with this every single day. What is going on in the world where you think Trump is a ratings machine? He loves it. He goes, I had the biggest crowd size, I got the biggest ratings, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it's down almost 30%. Was it 20? Yeah, almost 30% from Joe Biden's in 2021. Guess what, Lemonheads? You guys won. You said, I don't want to see it. I'm not going to watch it. And here's the weird thing. We had been saying, should we cover it? Because people are going to say they're not going to watch it, and then they're going to sort of watch it like this, right? They're sort of going to watch it like this. And you didn't. You didn't. It was MLK Day. Yes, Lenise, it was MLK Day, and we celebrated MLK. You guys won. Someone said, Don, the world is tired. Says Angelina Knox, the world is tired of the bull. The boycott worked, says Sharon. Go see the specifics on the ratings. It's down for everyone. Donald Trump is not touting that. And remember what I said about the crowd sizes, that he said it was the temperatures. Okay, it's cold. We have record cold temperatures. I'm looking at I have the feeds up of all of the cold weather around the country. Okay, but he's also concerned if he could fill that mall, spilling over, teeming with people, and it was a bigger crowd. If there was an indication that it was a bigger crowd than Joe Biden, or that he could fill that mall, that would have been outside. You guys won. You guys won. You guys won. How do you feel? That's when I say you have the power. You can decide. You can be informed without being inundated. You don't have to sit in front of the television all day with it on and becoming outraged. You can tune into this where you get your feedback. We watched Breakfast at Don's, says Yvette. Deborah Yvette, thank you. See, it works. We don't have to say anything. Just do it, says Marie Maniscalco. Yes, we did it. Network Blackout, says Sheba Nice. Thank you for your support of independent media. I'm not saying that you should. I'm just saying that I'm not telling you what to do, but you have the power. And folks are exercising their power. That is fantastic, says Joyce. Can you imagine being 10 million down from 10 million? I think it was like to 1.7 million in prime time. How do you think Donald Trump feels about this? He loves crowd sizes, and those TV ratings are his crowd size measures. Who wanted to watch a convict become president? I didn't, says Tamala Patterson. I love this for us, says Shirley M. I love this for us. That's why I'm so happy that you are helping to build this community. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Become a member. Become a subscriber. It is free. Hit the hearts. It affects the algorithm. Tell people about us. Look at where we are. We have gained almost 100,000 followers since Christmas. Subscribers, I should say, just on this YouTube channel. Tune into us on YouTube. Become part of the Hot Topics at 10 a.m. Then become part of our Live at 5, where we get to talk. I have one more piece of business that I want to tell you about before I'm coming to your comments on all the platforms, because I want to hear from you. What do you think about this, right? What do you think about this? Now, when I say earlier in the show, I said, this did not happen. This did not happen. This did not happen. You did not see it. None of this. I was falsely accused. It was a smear campaign. Okay. Do you guys have, Nikki, you sent it to me last night. I don't know if we cut it, where I said, I was talking about something completely different, taking a question from one of you guys, amplifying, profiling, putting up your comments. You were talking about, I was talking about the ceasefire in Gaza. You asked me a question about Pete Hegseth. And I said that when Senator Tim Kaine when he was questioning Pete Hegseth, it sounded like he had some information that others had not seen yet, or that he knew was going to become available, because he was very specific. He kept saying, if this actually happened, that would be disqualifying. If something like this happened, that would be disqualifying. And I'm saying, well, none of that stuff happened, Tim Kaine. So why are you saying that? If you have it, I want you to put it up. I'm going to read this, and I'm going to tell you why. Because there are new accusations that have come to light. Again, new accusations about Pete Hegseth have come to light. Okay, so we have it, right? Let me know if we can play it, whenever we can play it. If we have it. Is it in? Yes or no? Before I read this?
It's not in. I'm grabbing it though.
Okay. All right. So let me read it. So senators received an affidavit Tuesday from the former sister-in-law of Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth, in which she says his behavior caused his second wife to fear for her safety. The receipt of the affidavit comes after Senate Armed Services Committee staffers were in contact with Hegseth's former sister-in-law for several days. The former sister-in-law, Danielle Hegseth, submitted the affidavit in response to a January 18th letter from Senator Jack Reed, DRI, which is Democrat, Rhode Island, seeking a statement attesting to your personal knowledge about Mr. Hegseth's fitness to occupy this important position. Reed, the ranking Democrat on the Senate Armed Services Committee, asked Danielle Hegseth to detail what she knew of the instances of abuse, these are quotes, okay, or threats of abuse perpetrated against any other person and mistreatment of a spouse, former spouse, or other members of his family, among other requests. Reed said in a statement Tuesday, as I have said for months, the reports of Mr. Hegseth's history of alleged SA, alcohol abuse, public conduct, necessitate an exhaustive background investigation. I have been concerned that the background check process has been inadequate, and this sworn affidavit confirms that fact. This affidavit confirms that fact. Let's play what I said, and then I'm going to tell you what the allegations are. Here we go. For his team, says Jennifer Hollis. Okay. Don, who do you feel will be confirmed, says Kev? I think they will all be confirmed. I think he'll get all of them confirmed. Now, because of some of the questioning yesterday, that was a very good question. Because of some of the questions yesterday, especially with Tim Kaine's questioning, when I went back and looked at it, it sounded like a setup to me for some information that they possibly have that will be a kind of October surprise. when at the end of all of this, as he was setting up his questions and saying, now, if someone, this would disqualify someone if this happened, or this would disqualify someone if that happened, it sounded to me like, Tim Kaine, do you have something there that you're not telling us? Thank you. Do you have something there that you're not telling us, is what I said. Now, you guys think I'm not crazy. I've been doing this for a long time. Since the 90s. Since the 90s, the early 90s too. Woo, lordy, lordy, lordy. Okay, so this person who's describing, I'm just going to go on and read it. He added, the alleged pattern of abuse and misconduct by Mr. Hegseth is disturbing. This behavior would disqualify. Remember what I said and what Tim Kaine says. Any service member from holding any leadership position in the military, much less being confirmed as the Secretary of Defense. Okay, so here it is. These are the allegations. Danielle describes in the affidavit allegations of volatile and threatening conduct by Hegseth that made his second wife, Samantha Hegseth, fear for her safety. Among the allegations are that Samantha hid in the closet once from Hegseth and that she developed escape plans for use if she felt she needed to get away from Hegseth. That would be activated with a code word, and that she did once put the escape plans into action. At least 15 senators, including multiple Republicans, had reviewed the affidavit as of 2:30. That was yesterday, according to the Senate. 2 days before the Congress received the affidavit, NBC News asked Hegseth's second wife, Samantha Hegseth, to comment on the details of some of the allegations in the affidavit. In the email response, on Monday, Samantha Hegseth said, first and foremost, I have not and will not comment on my marriage to Pete Hegseth. I do not have representatives speaking on my behalf, nor have I ever asked anyone to share or speak about the details of my marriage. And then she goes on. She added, I do not believe the information to be accurate, and I have CC'd my lawyer. Okay, to be fair, that's what she said. So that's what, there are new allegations about Pete Hegseth. It sounds to me like they knew this was coming and they know other things are coming. Now, let me just say this. He is, unless there's some bombshell, he's going to be confirmed. The entire MAGA movement, all the senators, all of the Republicans, the MAGA movement in Washington, they are pushing for this. Donald Trump pushing very hard for this. He is going to be confirmed. One more piece of business. Let's put up the DEI executive order. They have gotten rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion in Washington, D.C. The White House, they have laid, the folks who worked on the diversity, equity, and inclusion in that office, they have all been sort of laid off, so to speak, or they have been put on leave. Pursuant to the authority under the U.S. Office of Personnel Management, is providing the following initial guidance to agencies regarding the president's executive orders titled Ending Racial and Wasteful Government DEI Programs and preferencing the initial rescissions of harmful executive orders and actions which repels executive order about diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's whatever. In light of that, each should take prompt actions regarding the office's agency subunits focusing exclusively on DEIA initiatives and program. Specifically, agencies' heads should take the following steps. Send an agency-wide notice to employees informing them of the closure and asking employees if they know of any efforts to disguise these programs by using coded or imprecise language or template agency, notice blah, blah, blah. Employees' offices, they are being placed on paid administrative leave. Effective immediately as the agency takes steps to close and all DEIA initiatives, offices, and programs. Take down all outward-facing media, etc. Also saying that they do not have to come to work. Their services are no longer needed and they will be paid out for the rest of their time. I'm not sure exactly how long that is. And that is where we are today. F around. and found out, or find out, but who exactly effed around and found out? That's where we are today. Don't believe anything you've seen and you've heard. It did not happen. It did not happen. And guess what? Because of the pardoning of these January 6 folks, it basically did not happen. They've been pardoned. It's over. It didn't happen. Same thing with Donald Trump. And the cases against him didn't happen. Over. Pretty much all of them. Pretty much all of them. To the comments now. Let's go to the elimination. Cat Love Dreaming Peach says, oh my God, Trump et al. Need to go to prison. Carol Jones says, didn't the White House take down the Spanish sites? They did. There was one. Helen P., sad day for America. I quit an excellent job due to I was feeling pressure to do reservations for the elite. After this, do we have a legal update on the deportations? The deportations are happening. We don't see any mass deportations. There's no video of it. There's no confirmation from cities as of right now, as we are streaming. Paula Dawson said the Trumpers F around and found out, but we are all affected. But we are all affected. This is nothing but whitewashing history, says Eric Walker. Nothing but whitewashing history. It is also gaslighting. Appalling. So innocent people working hard are out of jobs. Am I understanding you correctly? Yes. Yes, you are understanding me correctly. Sheldon Johnson says, here we go. We knew it was coming. Many voted for this. You're right about that. So you're hurting the people that voted for him. Shaking my head, says Reese Nunn. Not everyone is affected, says Samantha Universe. The cult is real, says Vanika Stubbs. Don't have fear, says Samantha Universe. I agree. I agree with you 100%. And what I want to say, Project 2025 is in full effect. Remember, we have no affiliation with Project 2025, but if you look at Project 2025, what they wrote in Project 2025, which Donald Trump says that his campaign had no affiliation with, is actually playing out right now. Thank you, August de Winter, for pointing that out. Say one thing and they do another. As my friend Rachel Maddow says, watch what they do, not what they say. He blocked aid to Gaza, says woman veteran. I'll have to double check on that. This is sad. The powerful without humanity, says Imani. Where are the cheap eggs, says Alo. They were worried about drugs coming into the country, but yet Ross Ulbricht was pardoned? Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Dale Shan says, thank you for your support of independent media, Dale Shan. Feels like we're stuck in reverse. We can't afford to disengage. Stay woke. Support independent media. Thank you, Dale. I agree. Michelle Jones, welcome to the Elimination. I'm so glad that you've become a member. Kathleen Heron, welcome to the Elimination. I'm so glad that you have become a member. Thank you for your support. V. Covey. They were worried about drugs coming in. That's what it says. But yes, Ross Ulbricht. Thank you, V, for that. And this is where we are. How do you feel about that? Michelle Jones, welcome to the Elimination. We need to move our eyeballs away from the meta platforms and TikTok, leave X, move to Blue Sky and fan base, stop participating in funding our own oppression. That's what Director for U2C. Can you get off of all the social media? Can you get rid of all these things? And what are you going to do? At some point, it's going to be hard to get off all of those platforms. Our membership link is at the top of our chat. You can also go onto YouTube and become a subscriber. It's free, or become a member, and then your comments get highlighted, and you also get special streams and other special benefits from being a member. At times, you even get to be on the show, depending on your level of membership. I'm tired for you guys. Michelle Jones, welcome. I'm tired for you guys, but I'm working hard so that you're informed and that you don't have to sit around all day, and you don't have to watch, you don't have to be inundated, you don't have to answer every single text about, oh my gosh, look at what's happening. Shut it down. Or as they used to say, simmer down now. Simmer down now. So guys, thank you for being here. People are very supportive of Samantha's universe. Yes. Thank you for being here. I don't know what else to say to you guys today. I don't know what else to say to you guys today. I'm concerned about my grandchildren's future, says Angie. Be me. I'm concerned. I appreciate you watching. Sorry for being a little bit late today, but I appreciate the folks who are watching us on the Instagram and who are watching us on the TikTok. TikTok, I'm going to switch over now, just so you know, if you're watching us, I'm switching over to the subscription-only platform. So if you would like to watch us, then you'll have to go over to the subscription-only platform. And here we are. A couple more comments. Jeffrey Carnett, welcome to the Elimination. We have so many new members. Seriously, I can't thank you enough for helping to build this. Woman Veteran says boycott. How do you boycott, Woman Veteran? How do you do that? Donna snowed in Harvey, Louisiana. Says Veracity Key 2020. I know it snowed in my hometown of Louisiana. What do? You support independent media because I have shown you, I've given you examples. Bree Pond, thank you for your support. Thank you, Donna. I only watched your coverage since Monday, and you speak the truth. I'm going to do this every day. Sometimes I wonder if I should just carry my phone around and just be live all day, or just sit here and just be live all day for you. If that is the way to go. It is 9 degrees in New York City. Stand by. I'm going to close the window because I have the window open. It's freezing in here, even with the fireplace. Don't go anywhere. Wow. Guys, you know it's cold. You know it's cold when the dogs are even like doing their thing. Look at my dog over here. Let me make sure I get it. Look at my dog over here. My dog is freezing. He's freezing over there. And the other one is somewhere nearby with the same energy, freezing. Or maybe he's gone somewhere where it's warmer in the house. It's freezing here. It's freezing all over the country. But can you just ban everything? Hell froze over, says Woman Veteran. Hilarious. Can you just boycott everything? I should say, can one do that? I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if that's possible. Thank you, Don. We will keep you posted on my husband's immigration process. Thank you for that, because you mentioned, who was that member again? Who mentioned that? Here we go. I need to get back to it. There was a member who posted about the husband. They were concerned about their husband's immigration. Thank you for your support. I don't see who it. Allegedly Elise, I think it was. I'm not sure who it was. TikTok, I'm glad you're on in the subscription only space. A lot of folks are following us live now on the subscription space. Not a lot of comments. It's just people who are following us. Why do you think we not have any leaders like MLK anymore, says January Capricorn? Because the system does not allow for that. It's very tough. And even if you do become a leader like MLK, Martin Luther King, Angerstein Global Risk Management, that's who it is. Thank you for your support. And please keep us informed of your husband's immigration process. Because the system doesn't allow for it, because because the media won't cover it. The media will ignore it. Because that's how it goes. Shiny object, don't push back. It is the media's job to hold truth to power and to question aggressively our members, our leaders, to question aggressively. HNT has pointed something out. Thank you for your generous support. We are 5,000 away from 400,000 subscribers. You say members. I wish we had 400,000 members. That would be fantastic. One day we will. But we are 5,000 away from that. So if you want to know why we don't have leaders like that, it's because the public does not demand of it. Flying High with Queen Key says, thank you for becoming a member. Getting rid of a lot of bills that Biden put in place. Yes, they are. Can you believe during Christmas, 300,000, almost 500,000, 5,000 away. Miss Funny Acting says, Don, do you think MAGA really wants a civil war? No, I don't believe that they want a civil war. I just think that they want total dominance and control. I just think that they want to get their agenda through, and they're going to do it by any means necessary. And remember what I told you, the energy that I'm taking into 2025, and I think that Democrats should, and for people who are moderate Republicans or not Trump Republicans, for libertarians, for independents, I think you should carry it by any means necessary Malcolm X attitude into 2025. That's what I believe. TikTok is mostly people who are following us on this new thing, followed the live creator. I don't blame Biden for pardoning people he worries Trump will attack, says Carmen is Blue on TikTok. I don't either. Captain Mael K says, I'm just so wrecked. I lost her comment. Just so wrecked by, I lost her comment. I'm sorry. Why do you think we've not have any leaders like MLK anymore? That's from January Capricorn. Oh, I'm just so wrecked by it all. Just sharing good reading lists, says Captain Mael. Don, do you think being the truth teller, Don, thank you for being a truth teller. We miss you on CNN. Thank you. I miss you too. But I'm very happy where I am, and I'm enjoying my freedom and autonomy and being able to build a community with you guys. Front Row View says boycott Meta. How do you boycott Meta? You know a lot of folks that are on Facebook. You know a lot of folks that are on Instagram. You know a lot of folks that are on Threads. You know a lot of folks that are on WhatsApp. How do you boycott that? Tell me if you want to. I'm telling you though, but honestly, you guys, do you understand? Do you understand that you won? You won with the media coverage. Not with the watching, not watching. I almost said the insurrection, the inauguration. You said because that's exactly what he wanted. You said that you were going to black it out. You didn't need to see it. And you did. You actually kept your word. I kept thinking, oh my God, they're going to do like this. And then they're going to watch. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, by the way. And if you're on TikTok, make sure you hit the hearts because it's important to the algorithm. More people get to see our content. More people become aware of our community. Don't you want more folks to become part of the elimination? Steph in the City says, yes, that Malcolm X energy. Ms. Lady says, we can turn this around in the midterms. You certainly can. Now you see the power that you have. Nana Pan says, I don't miss a certain news organization. Thank you, Nana Pans. She says, I don't miss CNN. I have not had the traditional cable for years now. What about fan base, says Misha. I refuse to watch the insurrection, which was the inauguration. That is what it was, said Cat Dance 63. Don, give us an inside look at what your friends on cable news are thinking, Diane Roberts. Okay, here's what my friends on cable news are thinking. Number one, they have to follow the directions that are given by the bosses and the managers and the executive producers and the C-suite, and they've got to follow those directions or they're skating on thin ice. That they have to do it the way the company wants them to do it, which is understandable. If the company wants you to do a certain way, you're going to do a certain way. You know how I feel about that. I think that there should be a wall between the profits, the shareholders, the folks who own the companies, the media companies, and the actual journalistic organizations. There should not be any influence. As it relates to that, there should be no influence. There should be a wall. And the folks who run the news divisions should be able to tell the bosses, stay out of this. We are journalists. Let us do what we do. And they should not use the journalism part of their organization as a barometer for profits. Remember, these news organizations, when you're talking about the ratings, right? The ratings are important, that mostly for boastful, but the ratings have to do with advertising, right? So that's important. If you don't want to watch, you don't want to watch. Where they get their money from is subscribers, subs, people who actually pay for that line to come into their home or to stream it or whatever. It is on sub rates for subs. That's where the money is. In order for them, however you get your cable from, whatever organization, whatever company you get your cable from, they want to make sure that that platform is on that particular platform, that organization or channel is on that particular platform. And so they sell it in a bundle. But if you don't want that, and you cut the cord or whatever to speak, or say you don't want, then that's where the effect comes in. It's not in the ratings and the advertising. That's mostly to boast. We're number one. A lot of people are watching us. Okay, great. They would like to get that sort of extra money, the cherry on top of the sundae, the icing on the cake, that extra money that comes from advertisers or ad rates. But the money is in the subs, the people who subscribe. That is dropping, but it's still a lot of money that they get from that. So that's why they're not concerned. They're not concerned about having people on that you're interested in watching. They're not concerned. They're concerned about carrying a certain narrative for obvious reasons. And they care about the subs and the sub rates and whether they can sell that particular channel in a bundle. So if you do it directly, I think that you can decide what you want, because usually you're paying for a bundle. Whatever it is, you're paying a lot of money a month for that. And there are ways that you can do it, that you can sort of cherry pick what you want. Don is correct, says Helen P. I know, I'm telling you, I'm correct. Do you guys know about this? Thank you, Sheila Jackson, for supporting independent media. The Lemonheads is where it's at. Yes. So you want to know? I answered your question. You want to know what the folks are saying? That's what they're saying. And they don't know what's going to happen next. And they're quite concerned over the next 4 years. Please get Malcolm Nance to come on the Lemon Nation, says Sheila Jackson. Oh, wait, I'll reach out to Malcolm Nance. If you at him anywhere, just tell him, hey, you should go on Don Lemon's channel. We are getting insider info, says Samantha's Universe. It's not really inside. I mean, you can look it up. Karen White says, yes, call Comcast. Don is correct. Remember, Comcast owns NBC and MSNBC. I just want you guys to know that. Just remember, all the news organizations are owned by giant conglomerations, big, mostly entertainment companies. Remember, CBS is Paramount, right? Paramount Pictures. Even there, I think there are still Paramount theme parks, I think. Okay, so that's CBS. ABC is owned by Disney. Self-explanatory. Right? You have Disney movies, you got Disney Channel, you got all those things. NBC is owned by Comcast, MSNBC. Fox is owned by News Corp, which is, remember, Fox came off of 20th Century Fox. Who else? Oh, CNN is owned by Warner Brothers, Discovery. Who did I miss? And then you have the social media places, the digital places, like YouTube. You saw the guy owned by Google. You saw him at the CEO at the inauguration. Then you have Mark Zuckerberg. Then you have, of course, Twitter and X, Doge. Who am I missing? Oh, and then you had the CEO of TikTok there too. And by the way, the folks on many of these platforms, if not most of them, who are right-leaning, and many of them are conspiracy theorists, many of them, the folks with the huge contracts, and you guys know what I'm talking about, those are usually right-leaning sites that don't have to abide by facts. And those sites are deemed worthy of ad dollars and, giant contracts so that they can spread the word. But it's hard out here. I'm being so honest with you guys on these here streets for people who believe in facts, who want to tell the truth, who hold truth to power, who push back against the establishment, and who tell you the truth about your media, your leaders. It's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different ball game. PR Envy says, I worked on cable TV. They hurt without our eyeballs. They check the ratings first thing every morning. They do. But again, I want to say the ratings very important, but it really comes from you paying that cable bill every month. Because remember, it's not, when you pay the cable bill, it's not just the cable organizations that come through. The broadcast organizations come through that cable thing anyways. I'm not saying that you should cut the cord. I'm just giving you the facts on how this works. Oh, remember, yes, Jeff Bezos, Amazon was there as well. So make sure you like, subscribe, get us to that 500,000. That would be great. And keep supporting independent media. Okay, guys. So I felt like I owed you a little bit extra because I came on late. And I'm really sorry about that. But we're getting the information together. And I love that you guys start the show and that you're in the chat, starting the show and engaging in community and in positivity. There's very little negativity on this platform. And I like that. You can disagree. Folks disagree with me on this platform all the time. Even when we have our Lemon Legends up on the screen, we disagree. And I welcome that. But we don't like when people are disrespectful or if you're here just to troll. Just to troll. By the way, someone says, Cat loved Dreaming Peach says, Vivek was like, oh, you're racist against me too? LOL. All right, those are your words, but we have, I have something up on Vivek and it is doing quite well. So also check out our other content. You don't have to just watch the lives. We have so much more content that we put up every single day and that you should check out. It only takes you a few minutes to check it out and watch. We could use your support there if you want to talk about ratings. Our ratings are done in clicks and how many people click on and tune into it. So go watch some of our other stuff. Search for You says, but if you're trolling, please hit the thumbs up. Join us. Trolls are super fans too. Okay, so I feel like I've given you just about enough, and I've made up. So this is my birthday. Everyone say happy birthday to Noel G. Noel G, you got to become a member. And the only reason I'm shouting you out is because today is your birthday. You put it in all caps, but it is not coming in green. The folks in green are members and they get highlighted. But happy birthday to Noel G. Nana Pan says, I let the ads run when it's not live to support. I do the same thing. Sometimes I leave the computer on and the ads are running. I'm like, good. Thank you, the VB22. Yes, I believe it was a favor. Thank you. Okay, everyone. So happy birthday to everyone is saying happy birthday. See what this community is like? See what this community is like? We have some content that's going to drop at 2 o'clock. And then 5 o'clock, we also have some content that we want to share with you. We'll see if it warrants a 5 o'clock. Should I do a 5 o'clock live? I think I know I'm getting myself into trouble. Stephanie, thank you. Stephanie gifted membership. Stephanie Ray Shiziak. It's a lot of S's and Z's and C's in there. Thank you for your generosity. So should we do a 5? What should we do? You tell me. I mean, a live. Tell me. That's up to you guys, okay? But we'll see. It's hard work, y'all. It's hard out here for a pimp. Okay, I'll let you go. Wow, look at the engagement. Engagement has been so great, guys. I hate to let you go because so many people are watching. I have other material that I can talk about if you want me to. Look, I got to tell you, there's something that I could talk about as it relates to Stephen A. and Snoop. Stephen A. is speaking out. I planned on doing that. And I said, I'm not going to do that. Do you want to hear that real quick? Because I was saying in the whole theme of things where we were discussing, you're not seeing and hearing what you think you're seeing and hearing. We're not seeing and hearing what you think you're seeing and hearing. Look, Andy, do you have what Stephen A. said about Snoop Dogg? Because Snoop Dogg, by the way, is getting maligned on, I don't know if it's maligned, but he's getting it all over.
Yeah, I have it.
Because he and Nelly and Soulja Boy and Rick Ross, because they all performed. Well, Stephen A. is making excuses for it, saying, hey, it's okay, they're performers, whatever. Feel however you want to feel about it. But this is like, Stephen A. is basically telling you, well, there's no Trump in all of this. When the person, remember, I want you to go, well, let's just play what Stephen A. says. Here it is.
Snoop, and I'm going to tell you exactly what the brother said to me. He wasn't there for Trump. He was there for David Sachs, who's going to be running crypto and AI. He's going to be that crypto and AI czar for the present administration. That's who David Sachs is. David Sachs is somebody that Snoop has had a relationship with for decades. David Sachs is that cat when nobody else put their hand out offering dollars to Snoop's football league and beyond. That brother does it. That brother's ready to do it now. So we got to take all of that into consideration. Nelly threw out the money as well. He ain't trying to be political. He's an artist. He was paid to perform, and that's exactly what he did. Don't get me started with what Soulja Boy said. He said the same exact thing. Now, he said it in a very abrasive and excessive fashion, and I thought that was unnecessary, but if that's his lingo, that's his lingo. The point is the point. He sat up there and pulled out a bag of money and said, did anybody offer me to perform? That's what they did. So we see all of that going on, and we understand what that is. But back to Snoop Dogg, because that's who I know. Back to Nelly, because that's who I know. Nelly is not a political person. Nelly doesn't get involved in the campaigns. Nelly does perform for people who will pay the right fee, et cetera, as an artist. And he is somebody.
Okay. That's what, wow, Stephen. I thought I got animated. Oh, Jesus. Look, you can't, it's hard to argue that this wasn't about Donald Trump, that he wasn't there. This was a Donald Trump inaugural event. David Sachs is a staunch supporter of Donald Trump. Now, look, David Sachs okay, maybe he does he donates to Snoop Dogg's charities and so on. But David Sachs is part of the MAGA movement. The entire event was because of Donald Trump's inauguration. If David Sachs was a true friend and understands or understood the predicament, if he was putting his friend in a predicament by saying, look, I would love to perform, but you have to understand the situation that we're in. Because they certainly do it on the MAGA side. They pick and choose who they would like to support. They pick and choose what may compromise them. They pick and choose. I'm not exactly sure what with Stephen A. He's doing it for a friend, but that friend is aligned with a group of people and himself that have maligned people of color like Snoop. And Snoop has spoken out before about that. That calls, and I repeat, athletes sons of bees. That wanted innocent men executed for a crime that they did not commit, but has now pardoned people who were found guilty. So I'm not exactly sure what Stephen A. is trying to say, except my mom always said, just because you're saying it loud doesn't mean it's right. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Snoop Dogg is a grown man and he can perform whatever he wants. That's his thing. But people are allowed to feel a certain way. People are allowed their own opinions. I think even Martha Stewart said that she would not have taken a pardon. Check that out for me, producers, and correct me if I'm wrong, from Donald Trump. Just fact check me on that. Money is more important than integrity, says someone. I don't know. But just so you know, if you said he had performed for David Sachs at a David Sachs event, or for, I would say, okay. But this event, this crypto event, this whole thing in Washington, D.C. was part of a whole weekend of Donald Trump inaugural events. Hard to separate the two. Optics do matter, as someone in the chat says. Remember the optics that we said around the mayor of Los Angeles not being there when the tragedy happened. Optics are important. All money ain't good money. So, Stephen, look, I thought I got an enemy. You can say it as loud as you want, but that doesn't necessarily make it right. I understand that you may be standing up for a friend, but people have the right to criticize that friend and not be scolded about it. So that's what I said. People are trying to make you whatever, whether it's MAGA or not, or people who are MAGA apologists or Trump apologists try to make you think that you're seeing what you're seeing and hearing is not what you're seeing and hearing. That's a gaslight. And you guys should refuse to be gaslit. Hush Up in the chat. Because of Hush Up's generosity, 50 people get to become members of Elimination. So thank you. So look, we're here for truth. We're here for facts. We hold truth to power without fear or favor. You are judged by the company you keep, says Golden Butterfly. Someone in here says Stephen A. is correct. Not a member. I can't find who it is because it went by me in the chat. Oh, it's Jeanette Fulcher says Stephen A. is correct. You're welcome to your opinion. And we like people, we respect your opinions around here. Lisa D says Snoop said in an interview that he F with everyone. Dwayne Kim says, sometimes you just have to say no, no matter what the payout is, period. So here we are. And with that, I said I have other content, but I'm not going to go there. All right, so we're done. I think we've spent just about 2 hours live. Danielle Lane became a member. Welcome to the Lemon Nation, Danielle. I'm just going to call out some of the members here. Thank you for your support. Sade Graves became a member. Sade, welcome to the Lemon Nation. We're so glad that you became a member. KC, welcome to the Lemon Nation. Hush Up, thank you for your generous support and helping others to become members of the Lemon Nation. And thank you for helping grow our community. Okay? Check out our content. We'll see you at 2 o'clock and at 5 o'clock for more from the Don Lemon channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. And our goal, remember what our goal is for the end, for my birthday, March 1st. Remember what our goal is. We have 5,000 to go. We'll see you later. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.